I'd like to introduce you now to Mr. Costa, Mark Costa, to come forward and deliver his keynote address. But I'd first like to read Mr. Costa's CV. Mark was born in Johannesburg and grew up on a farm just north of the city. He attended Krugersdorp High School, where he matriculated in 1981. After completing 2 years of military service, he enrolled at the University of Witwatersrand, where he studied for a BSc in mining engineering, graduating in 1988. We'll excuse him for that sin in the past, but anyway. Mike then joined Anglo American in the Gold Division, completed the graduate training program, progressed through the junior management ranks quite quickly, and was appointed section manager in 1994. After completing a full-time MBA at Wits Business School during 2002, Mike joined Anglo American Platinum, where he further advanced his career before moving to Lonmin in 2008. He held various senior positions at Lonmin, last of which was Executive Vice President Technical, where he was responsible for group technical services, capital projects, and international exploration. Mike is currently CEO of Murray & Roberts Mining Platform, a global mining engineering and construction business with a geographical footprint covering 6 continents. He leads a business that employs over 7,000 people and generates an annual revenue of 12 billion rand. Mike is a director of Murray & Roberts Limited and is the board chairman of Murray & Roberts Group subsidiary companies in Australia, Canada, and South Africa. Mike is married to Stacia, and they have 2 teenage daughters. He is a keen cyclist, enjoys the odd round of golf, and appreciates good food and wine like a true miner. Mr. Costa, please.
Thank you, Program Director. Good afternoon to everybody. Thanks for having me join your meeting here this afternoon, particularly given the fact that I come from the university on the other side of the Yexka. So it's really a pleasure for me to be here with you this afternoon. So when Bertie invited me to do this address today, I thought, okay, so what am I going to talk about? After giving it some thought, I decided I'd talk about developments around technology and digitalization in the international mining industry, and how the slow adoption of these technologies into the South African industry is negatively impacting competitiveness. So the title of my address today is "The South African Mining Industry Needs to Transform and Adopt New Technologies if it is to become globally competitive again." There's no arguing that the mining industry in South Africa, and particularly underground mining, has become a lot less competitive over the past 20 years. My address today aims to highlight this plight and to suggest some means of reversing the trend. The industries in the development world, the world that we compete with for capital investment, have moved forward and adopted new, technologically advanced and more efficient ways of working. But the industry in South Africa has not advanced much in the past 20 years. To make matters a little worse, many of us who work in the South African industry don't realize quite how far we've fallen behind. Certainly from my own perspective, I've spent my entire career working in South Africa, and while I realized there were developments going on in the global industry, you know, the sort of information you pick up through reading, attending conferences, seminars, and so on, I did not realize the extent to which this was happening, and also did not realize the full impact of these developments in terms of the significant safety and productivity benefits that they were delivering. It was only when I moved into my current role and where I've had the privilege to gain first-hand and more intimate knowledge and experience of what is happening internationally that I fully realized how far we have actually fallen behind. To begin with, handheld drilling, which is still commonplace in the South African industry, is basically extinct in the modern global industry and is only used in a few very specific applications. Then, where we do mine with mechanized equipment, the equipment that we're using is not nearly as advanced as that being used by the leading players in the global industry. Technology has advanced rapidly over the past few years, and all indications are that this will continue apace in the years ahead. Some examples of the technologies and practices that are beginning to gain real traction in the international industry are cost-effective high-speed Wi-Fi connectivity underground, LHDs that operate autonomously and by remote control from surface, drill rigs that drill automatically according to pre-programmed drill patterns. Also, technology that will enable the remote operation of these drills is currently being trialed too. Real-time monitoring of the operating parameters of equipment directly from the onboard management systems, together with real-time condition monitoring of major components, all linking up to the maintenance systems. This will ultimately lead to the evolution of reliability-centered and predictive maintenance systems. Production control systems that gather real-time, accurate information from the underground environment and transmit it to the control room, where the data can be analyzed and information fed back to production personnel so that the right people have the right information available to them at the right time to make the best possible operations decisions. Scanning applications that use LiDAR scanning to scan advancing development ends after every blast to ensure that the excavation dimensions, line and grade are maintained at all times, thereby reducing rework and the negative consequences associated with it. Real-time capturing of checklists, audits, etc. into a digital database that, with the assistance of artificial intelligence, enables quick analysis of data, which in turn enables proactive action to be initiated, tracked, and closed out quickly. These are just some examples of the applications of mechanization and digitization that we in South Africa are not currently fully exploiting to make our industry more effective. I appreciate that there's currently a significant effort underway to modernize our large conventional underground mines, and some very good work is taking place as far as this is concerned. This work must continue in order to improve safety and efficiency and to maximize the return on capital that has been invested in these operations. I am, however, of the opinion that the successful modernization of these operations will not be sufficient to fully restore the competitiveness of the industry in South Africa. In order to really compete with the modern global industry, a significant transformation of our industry is required. This transformation must, in my view, start with rapid adoption of advanced technology in the areas where we currently do mechanized mining. Additionally, conventional mining should be phased out over time. The current conventional mining operations should be allocated sufficient capital to ensure that they are able to continue to operate as safely and as efficiently as possible until the end of their lives. The largest proportion of capital invested in the industry should, however, be invested into exploring for new ore bodies that can be mined by mechanized means, and any new greenfields investments should be into new, modern, mechanized operations. Such a significant transformation will require real collaboration between the many stakeholders in the industry in order to provide the enabling environment for such a transition to take place. Each of the main stakeholders will have to contribute their fair share in order for it to be a success. So mining operators, particularly those with a global footprint, these operators can be the catalyst for adoption of new technologies in the South African industry, by bringing technology that has been developed and used on their operations elsewhere in the world to their operations in South Africa. Mining engineers and technical professionals, so ourselves, they need to ensure that they do what they can to stay abreast of technology developments around the world and take every opportunity to get first-hand knowledge and experience of the latest technology. They must become change agents and ensure that the latest technology is incorporated into designs and execution methodologies for new projects wherever possible. The regulator, they need to create a more accommodating regulatory environment that incentivizes and enables the exploration for new ore bodies. The regulatory environment must also accommodate more innovative thinking and experimentation if a transition to a more mechanized and technologically advanced industry is to be successful. Labor unions, we need to engage labor unions regarding the benefits of adopting mechanized and more technologically advanced mining practices. Benefits such as improved safety, higher skilled and higher paid jobs, and increased longevity of the industry in order to garner their support and assistance with the transition. Education and training institutions, these institutions must keep abreast of the changing skills requirements to support such a transition and must ensure that they adapt their capabilities, curriculums, and training programs to enable the supply of skills that will be required. Equipment and technology OEMs, they must ensure that the necessary sales, technical, and maintenance support structures are properly established within the country and that there is sufficient OEM expertise resident in the country to support the adoption of these new technologies. In this regard, we at Murray & Roberts believe that as a leading underground mining, engineering, and construction contractor with an extensive global footprint, we too are able to act as a catalyst and play an important role in this transformation. We have first-hand experience in the application of many of the latest technologies in our projects around the world, and we have already begun to transfer these to select projects in Southern Africa. We own a controlling share in a small technology company based in Australia that specializes in mining operating technology and automation. They provide operations technology, automation, data acquisition and analysis, and software solutions that enable our project teams to get the best possible performance out of smart machines and applications that are available to the industry. In addition to this, we recognize that a very significant enabler of such a transition is the ability of leaders within the industry to have the capacity and skills to lead such a transition. To this end, we are collaborating with the Mining Engineering Department at the University of Pretoria to enable research into this field and are sponsoring the Murray & Roberts Chair in Industry Leadership 4. As a company with deep roots in the mining, engineering, and construction industry in South Africa, we are committed to play our role in transforming the industry. South Africans are known to be resilient and innovative, and more so when they are being pushed to the edge of the precipice. I'm firmly of the belief that if all stakeholders commit to support a transition along the lines of what I've described here today, the industry will transform over the medium term and will once again become a force to be reckoned with within the global mining industry. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Da Costa. That was a very good and necessary speech that you've given us. And what I think we got from that was the absolute need to transform to a more mechanized society. But the good news is We have got the capital. We have got the human capital to do it. We just have to apply it correctly. And you use the word resilient. And I think that is what happened. I mean, I've worked on so many mines where they said, it's got another 5 years and we're going to close the mine. 30 years later, the mine is still working. And the same with our industry. People had been saying we're in a sunset industry, but we still get going if we apply things correctly. I'd just like to give you a small gift of appreciation for your speech that you've given us.